The Addams Family, 1964 to 1966, captured hearts with its eerie charm, quirky humor, and unforgettable characters. For 2 seasons, viewers were enchanted by the gothic yet lovable clan that turned spooky into spectacular. But while the show remains a cult classic, the real lives of its stars tell a much darker story. Behind the scenes, several cast members face personal struggles, tragic circumstances, and untimely deaths that contrast sharply with the laughter they brought into our homes. In this tribute, we explore the heartbreaking fates of the beloved actors who made the Addams Family an unforgettable part of television history. Carolyn Jones, who portrayed the elegant and eerie Morticia Addams in the Addams Family, was 34 years old in 1964 when she brought the vampish matriarch to life. Her performance, characterized by a chilling calm and gothic beauty, became iconic. Despite her success on screen, Jones endured a deeply troubled personal life. She was married 3 times, most notably to producer Aaron Spelling, but each marriage ended in heartbreak and eventual divorce. Carolyn had no children, a source of deep sorrow for her. After the Addams Family, her career declined rapidly due to typecasting and serious health issues. Diagnosed with colon cancer in the late 1970s, she continued to work while battling the disease in silence. Financial instability plagued her later years. Her net worth at the time of her death in 1983 was estimated at only $400,000. She passed away at age 53 in her West Hollywood home. Jones' final years were marked by isolation, estrangement from her family, and the quiet loss of fame. Her life serves as a haunting contrast to the poised and confident Morticia she portrayed so vividly, leaving behind a legacy of talent shadowed by personal tragedy. Jackie Coogan, who brought the zany and lovable Uncle Fester to life, was 50 years old when he joined the Addams Family. Known for his wild expressions and bizarre charm, Coogan had already lived a roller coaster life by the time he donned the dark robe of Fester. A former silent film child star, Coogan made millions in his youth, only to have it squandered by his mother and stepfather, leading to the famous Coogan Law, protecting child actors. He married 4 times, including a short-lived union with actress Betty Grable. His second marriage to Flower Perry produced 1 son, but it ended in divorce. His third and fourth marriages were turbulent and ultimately ended, leaving Coogan emotionally drained. After the Addams Family, roles became scarce, and financial troubles returned. He struggled with alcoholism and health issues, dying of heart failure in 1984 at age 69. At the time of his death, his net worth was estimated at just $200,000. Despite his fame, Coogan's life was riddled with betrayal, lost fortunes, and heartbreak, making his portrayal of the eccentric but loving Uncle Fester a bittersweet mirror to his real-life yearning for stability. Ted Cassidy, towering at 6 feet 9 inches, was 32 when he played the deep-voiced, emotionless but endearing Lurch and also lent his hand to Thing in the Addams Family. His physical presence defined Lurch's eerie charm, but Cassidy's own life was marked by a persistent sense of isolation. Married once to Margaret Helen Jesse, they had 2 children, but the marriage ended in divorce in 1976 after years of strain. Cassidy's unique height, a result of acromegaly, made him a standout but also led to constant health issues and typecasting in menacing roles. Following the series, he found work in voice acting and minor television roles, but he longed for more meaningful parts that never came. He was introspective and reportedly lonely, especially after his divorce and the decline of his career. Cassidy died in 1979 during complications from surgery to remove a tumor from his heart, passing at age 46. His net worth at the time was estimated at around $150,000. Despite the sorrow that followed him, Cassidy remains beloved by fans, a gentle soul trapped in a body that brought him fame, and a quiet, tragic isolation. Blossom Rock, best remembered for her role as the mystical and witchy grandmama, was 69 when the Addams Family began airing. Sister to actress Jeanette MacDonald, Rock had been in the entertainment business for decades, though she remained largely in the shadows. A lifelong bachelorette, she never married and had no children, a solitude that seemed to suit her as much as it weighed on her spirit in private. Her portrayal of Grandmama showcased a whimsical sharpness, but behind the scenes, Rock's health began to falter soon after the series ended. She suffered a debilitating stroke in 1968 that left her unable to speak, effectively ending her acting career. The final years of her life were spent in a nursing home, cut off from the industry that had given her a place, however small, in Hollywood history. She died in 1978 at the age of 82 from natural causes. At her death, she had little financial wealth. Her estate was estimated at under $100,000. While her life lacked the fanfare and companionship many others experienced, Blossom Rock's character endures as a cornerstone of the Addams Family legacy. Ken Weatherwax, the mischievous and playful Pugsley Addams, was only 9 years old when he took on the role in 1964. Despite his youthful charm on screen, Ken's post-Addams life was anything but cheerful. Following the show's end, he struggled deeply with being typecast, leading to a virtual halt in his acting career. He left Hollywood altogether and joined the U.S. Army, attempting to start fresh. He never married and had no children, often citing his lack of trust and inability to maintain long-term relationships as a result of his turbulent childhood in show business. Weatherwax battled depression and financial instability for much of his life. He later worked behind the scenes in Hollywood doing technical work, but the spotlight never returned. He lived modestly in West Hills, California, and passed away in 2014 at the age of 59 due to a heart attack. His net worth at the time was estimated at only $50,000. A recluse in his later years, Ken rarely spoke about his fame, and his story became a haunting reminder of the challenges faced by child actors after the applause fades. Tom Dandria, who guest-starred as the examiner in the Addams Family at the age of 52 in 1965, was best known for his earlier recurring role as Jim Gillis in The Life of Riley. His brief appearance on the eerie sitcom added a touch of comic normalcy amid the Addams' peculiar world. Off-screen, however, Dandria's personal life was marked by misfortunes. Though he married actress Maxine Cantway in the late 1940s, the union suffered under the weight of career turbulence and personal demons. They had 2 children, Thomas Jr. and Christine, but Tom struggled to maintain a stable family life, leading to a quiet divorce in the late 60s. After the Addams Family, his acting career faded, and he largely disappeared from the public eye, battling alcoholism and depression and solitude. Financial instability haunted him throughout the 1970s and 80s. Friends reported that he lived modestly, occasionally attending Alcoholics Anonymous meetings, but rarely reconnecting with the Hollywood community. He died in 1998 at age 85 from heart failure, living his final years in near obscurity. At the time of his death, his estate was valued at approximately $150,000, much of it in the form of a modest home in Van Nuys, California. Despite the decline, some remember his warm presence and comedic timing, especially in his earlier television successes. Fred Clark, who portrayed Mr. Courtney in a guest role on The Addams Family in 1965 at the age of 61, brought a brittle, exasperated energy that perfectly contrasted the Addams' bizarre charm. Known for his sarcastic delivery and balding, scowling persona, Clark was a staple in 1950s comedies and often typecast as the grumpy foil. His personal life, however, was fraught with sorrow. He was married to actress Bené Venuta, but their high-profile marriage ended in a bitter and public divorce, reportedly caused by his volatile temper and infidelity. They had one daughter, Elizabeth, who later recounted a lonely childhood spent with nannies while her father chased roles. After his divorce, Clark's career declined, and his once thriving financial status deteriorated due to gambling losses and failed business ventures. Suffering from depression and chronic health issues, he attempted a comeback in the mid-60s but found few roles suited to his aging demeanor. Clark died in 1968 at the age of 64 from liver disease exacerbated by years of heavy drinking. At the time of his death, his assets were minimal, with an estate estimated at just $75,000. His death marked a tragic conclusion for a man whose on-screen presence had once lit up theaters and living rooms alike. Anthony Caruso, who played the role of Don Molyneux in a guest appearance on The Addams Family in 1965 at age 52, was a prolific character actor often cast in villainous roles, thanks to his distinctive look and intense screen presence. Despite a steady stream of film and TV roles, Caruso's career never elevated him to leading man status, and he struggled with being typecast, something he resented deeply. He was married to his childhood sweetheart, Betty Grable, not the actress, with whom he had one son, Anthony Jr., a jazz musician who distanced himself from his father due to their frequent conflicts over lifestyle and expectations. The marriage, though long-lasting, was strained and punctuated by long periods of separation. Following his retirement from acting in the late 80s, Caruso lived quietly, frequently expressing regret that his extensive body of work was never fully appreciated. Financial troubles emerged after he fell victim to a fraudulent investment scheme in the early 1990s, losing a substantial portion of his savings. He passed away in 2003 at the age of 86 due to complications from stroke. At the time of his death, Caruso's estate was worth an estimated $400,000, much reduced from what it might have been at the peak of his career. Despite his turbulent life, he remains remembered by genre fans for the fierce charisma he brought to even the smallest roles. Parley Baer, who appeared as Mayor Henson in The Addams Family in 1964 at age 51, was a versatile character actor best remembered for his avuncular voice and appearances on radio, stage, and screen. His role as the hapless mayor brought a moment of bureaucratic bewilderment to the Addams' eccentric chaos. Behind the scenes, Baer's life bore more than a few personal tragedies. He was married to circus performer and radio actress Ernestine Clark for over 50 years, a rare Hollywood marriage that, despite its length, was said to be strained by long separations and Baer's intense dedication to his work. The couple had two daughters, Mary and Louise, both of whom chose lives far from the entertainment world. One daughter, Louise, tragically died in a car accident in 1985, a loss Baer never fully recovered from. Though respected in the industry, Baer lived with a sense of unfulfillment, having missed out on major stardom and often expressing frustration that he was remembered only for supporting roles. He spent his final years in Los Angeles, mostly retired and plagued by declining health. He passed away in 2002 at the age of 88 from complications following a stroke. His estate was estimated at $300,000, including a modest property and royalties from his radio work. Though largely forgotten by the mainstream, Baer is still beloved by classic radio enthusiasts and vintage TV fans. Lisa Loring, who portrayed the iconic Wednesday Addams in the Addams Family TV series, was only 6 years old when she took on the role of the sweet yet eerie daughter of Gomez and Morticia. Her stoic expressions and deadpan delivery turned her into an instant fan favorite, embodying the gothic innocence that defined the character. Despite the early fame, Loring's life spiraled into personal hardship. She married 4 times, first at the age of 15, and her relationships were marked by instability and abuse. She had 2 daughters, Vanessa and Marianne, but struggled with addiction and financial ruin for much of her adult life. Loring's post-Addams career never regained momentum, with only sporadic appearances in low-budget horror films and soap operas. Her later years were marred by health issues stemming from a lifelong battle with smoking and substance abuse. She died in 2023 at the age of 64 after suffering a massive stroke. At the time of her death, her estate was estimated at around $50,000, having lost most of her earnings due to poor financial decisions and medical expenses. Her life is remembered as a tragic example of the child star curse, having never fully escaped the shadow of her most famous role. Felix Silla, who played the enigmatic and entirely hair-covered cousin Ike in the Addams Family, brought charm and whimsy to the series without ever showing his face. Born in Italy and only 3 feet 11 inches tall, Silla was 28 when he donned the signature sunglasses and long locks of cousin Itt, communicating entirely through high-pitched gibberish. Off-screen, Cilla faced numerous challenges. He married Susilla and had 2 children, Michael and Bonnie, but the loss of Michael to cancer in the 1990s devastated him. Though he continued working in Hollywood doing stunts and minor roles in science fiction films, he was often typecast and struggled to find fulfilling parts. Financial hardship dogged his later years, especially as medical costs mounted due to his pancreatic cancer diagnosis. Despite being beloved at conventions, Cilla admitted to long bouts of depression and loneliness, especially after the death of his son. He passed away in 2021 at the age of 84. At the time of his death, Cilla's estate was modest, valued at approximately $200,000, a reflection of a career in which his talent was often hidden behind a costume. Madge Blake, who appeared in the Addams Family as Miss Comstock in a brief guest role, was 64 at the time of her performance, a seasoned character actress known for playing doting, cheerful women. Despite her sunny on-screen demeanor, Blake's personal life was deeply troubled. She had been married to actor James Lincoln, but their union was plagued by his controlling behavior and emotional neglect. They never had children, and Blake often poured herself into her work to escape the strain of her home life. By the time she appeared in the Addams Family, her health had begun to decline due to complications from cancer, which she kept largely private. Hollywood had already begun to pass over older women, and her roles became fewer and less significant. She died of a heart attack in 1969 at the age of 69, living her final years in isolation and relative obscurity. Her financial state at death was meager, with assets totaling around $15,000, having been largely spent on healthcare and basic living expenses. Though fondly remembered by classic TV fans, her end was quiet and without the recognition she had once enjoyed. Malcolm Atterbury, who guest starred in the Addams Family as the eccentric Dr. Sabbath, was 59 years old in 1964 when he took on the role. Known for his roles in westerns and suspense films, Atterbury brought a commanding presence to even the briefest parts. However, his professional acclaim never translated into personal happiness. His marriage to Ellen Atterbury, a playwright, was fraught with financial difficulties and differing career ambitions, which led to their divorce in the late 1960s. They had one daughter, Caroline, who became estranged from him in adulthood. Though Atterbury kept acting into the 1980s, often playing grim or gruff authority figures, he struggled with depression and the feeling of being forgotten in an ever-changing industry. He died in 1992 at the age of 87 due to natural causes. Atterbury left behind a modest estate, valued at roughly $100,000, most of which was used to cover end-of-life care. His contributions to early television and film noir are respected among cinephiles, but his later years were marked by seclusion and the quiet ache of faded fame. Ellen Corby, who portrayed Mother Lurch in a guest appearance on The Addams Family, was 53 in 1965. Already an experienced actress known for her roles as stern but caring women, she lent an eerie maternal presence to her brief stint on the show. Off-screen, Corby led a life shaped by unfulfilled personal desires. Her marriage to cinematographer Francis Corby ended in divorce in the 1940s, and they had no children. Though she later had a long-term relationship with a woman named Stella Lucetta, still a taboo topic in mid-century Hollywood, she never publicly acknowledged it as romantic, fearing it would end her career. Corby suffered a major stroke in 1976, which left her partially paralyzed and affected her speech. Despite a strong recovery and return to the Waltons, her health slowly declined. She passed away in 1999 at the age of 87 from natural causes. Her estate, including royalties from television work, was estimated at $1 million, much of which went to her longtime companion. While admired for her resilience and depth of character acting, Corby's life was one of quiet suffering behind a composed exterior. Which character from The Addams Family, TV series 1964 to 1966, holds a special place in your heart? How does it make you feel knowing that some of the beloved cast members are no longer with us? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Feel free to share them in the comments below. If you've been enjoying this content, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Thank you for watching.